Welcome back to Ozark Traditions TV. This will be part 6. This will be the last part of our new series of DIY Deer Processing 101. We're going to cover the grinding and packaging of your deboned meat and the scraps that you had left over that you want to grind up into burger. So I've got my number 32 meat grinder. Put the disclaimer on that. We're not supported by meat. I just use their products. They're really good. So I'm going to jump right in. We're going to grind all this on the coarse plate. I'm going to stop and switch to the fine plate. And then we're going to go right over there. I'll bring the stuffer over here and I'll show you how easy it is to stuff and tape your own deer. So if you've watched all 6 parts, really what I encourage you to do, and so does Matt and all the guys that's on the team, is hey, get together and buy yourself a nice grinder. Don't buy a plastic framed grinder from a big box store. You just absolutely will not be happy. Get you a good grinder, get you a good stuffer, and you can do about anything you want with that as far as processing. So let's just get started. I'm gonna turn it on. And I really don't even have to stuff this in. I'm just dropping it in. I've got a meat stomper that might have to use it on the second grind. But right now, this thing is going to eat deer meat about as quickly as I can stuff it in. You don't want your grinder to run dry. So if you're going to be reloading your pan here or something like that, don't let it run dry. I know I've seen a lot of shows where the guys don't use this pan and they're just dropping it straight down. Well, you're going to get into trouble. You could get your hands in it. That's why this is here. So I had this in the freezer. It's very important. You want to keep your meat cold. And this deer is still plenty cold. So it's not taking me very long to grind up. I mean, it'll take a big chunk of meat, and it don't even slow it down. So I'm just stuffing right along. It's basically pulling it in on its own. I mean, this is safe. I cannot get my hands in it, and I would never override a safety feature on anything just because I think it's easier to shove it in. No, I've got all my fingers. I've been in the line of work I'm in. I've still got all my fingers, so I'm going to keep them. So I'm going to pick off what's laying there, and then I will get some of this, and I'm going to grind it through because there will be inevitably a little bit behind the knife. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going to let the last bit of it come out. And I don't have to just, what's still in the auger will come out with the second grind. So I'm just going to peel this out of the way, move this over. This is a number 32. It's really just about as big as you can get in a home grinder. Now see all of this? This is ground, it just didn't make it out. So what's going to happen with it, it's going to get it in there next time. There's a piece of fat, I'm just going to get it. So come here to the little storage cabinet. Get out my fine plate. It's got a notch down there. I want to get it pretty snug. So I'll just move that because I got to wash everything up. So now I'm just switching back around, and sometimes I use a wooden spoon. Sometimes I try to make it into a little cylinder because it drops down easier. So we're back on. I'm just going to drop her in. And as long as I don't clog it up here in the throat, it'll just keep chugging. And if you can keep it fed as it goes, your deer meat just comes out, and you can see it. It's just like, man, it's just so lean, and it's ground up really nice. I'm still not in any danger of getting my fingers in it. I don't have to use my stomper. I'm not forcing the meat through. This grinder is going to take it. You can see it's just laying it right out of there. As long as I keep going, it'll just keep putting it right out. I've had this grinder a couple of years. I loaned it to a friend of mine the other day. He needed a motor to attach to his stuff, his mixer like I got. I forget how much he ended up running about 17 deer through it between him and family and friends. They all come over, like I said. It's a good idea to get all your friends together. Make it a tradition. Maybe it's opening weekend. You guys kill a deer or 2 or 3. Go to somebody's house. Save yourself some money. Process your own deer. You'll get your own deer back. It'll be as clean as you want it to be. Now then, if I was wanting to, after the first grind, I could have put some pork in with this and had pork in my mix with my ground venison. But I do so many different things. Sometimes I don't want pork in it. Most of the time I do, but it's easier to put it in than wish you hadn't. Tell him, Matt. So it's going to be the same thing. I'm still going to have some right in there. So I'm going to drop in some of this. That's just good, clean, God-raised, lean deer meat. So you know what, really? If you're kind of not maybe don't want to eat red meat, maybe the doctor says, to lay off the red meat. This is red meat, but I couldn't tell you how lean that was. I know it's probably 90-10 or better. 90% meat, 10% fat. Deer just don't have the marbling that beef do because they're not raised on feed. At least not in the state of Missouri, right, Matt? I'm going to let it run the last little bit out. I'll clean it up real quick. We're going to go straight to the stuffer. I'll wash my hands. I'll show you how easy it is. If you got the right products, right tools, how easy this is to do. And like I said, get your buddies together. Somebody maybe buys a grinder. Maybe somebody can buy a stuffer. This is still all ground up. Here's kind of one thing I like to look at in there, is I like to look at the fat that kind of came out of it. If your stuff is really, 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 really cold, you'll pass that fat right on through and it won't smear up your grinder and everything. So you saw the back fat that was on her. So if you guys will give me a minute, I'm going to come right back here. I'm going to set up the stuffer. And we're going to stuff it into bags, tape it, and I'll just show you how easy that is, and that will be the end of our series. Give me just a few minutes. I'll be right back. Okay, so I got the stuffer out. I've got it all filled up already. I went ahead and ran it down slowly until I got the air out of the canister, which I threw all the meat in and I packed it down really good. You'll want to do that. And then I'm just right here is the meat. I stopped right there. So really, all that you need to do is slip over these are from LEM. These are 2-pound bags. So I'm just going to hold it towards the end of the stuffing tube. And as you can see, it's just going to, and as I go along with it, I'm just kind of holding it right here. And when I get near the end of the black, which is right about there, and I just take it and pull it off. What I want to do is I just want to twist it and run it through my tape machine. Tapes it for me. I always just kind of give it a little pinch. So there was one. That's just how easy. This was a pretty expensive stuffer. Don't miss it. Don't take me out of that. But you can buy a hand stuffer that you turn with a crank, but you got to have a really good table because they got to be bolted down because that thing will dance you all over the floor. I just been kind of saving up my pop can money to get a good stuffer. So it's just back to the same thing. I'm just going to kind of slowly let it feed my meat through. And when I get to what I think is the end, I just pull it off, put me a little twist in, kind of go slow with it. And there's bag number 2. So, as you can, I mean, that's just how easy it is to package your meat. Those will stay in the freezer for a couple of years. You just got to be careful that when you're digging in your freezer, you don't nick them, because once you nick them and the air gets in, it's going to start to freezer burn, and you'll end up with a bad spot that you'll probably want to take out. But so you saw us grind with the coarse plate and the fine plate. You saw how quickly that went. You'll want to get you, like I said, if you're blessed enough, and I guess I am, because I should not say that, I am blessed enough that I could buy this by myself. It come out of my tater cutter money, but I got a nice grinder, and it really makes a world of difference. And I'm not stingy with it. I'll loan it. You can come over and grind. I'm perfectly fine with that. So if you got your buddies, get you a quality grinder. Please don't get a plastic-bodied grinder. You'll be disappointed. This is a nice stuffer. I mean, you can get a hand crank one. They work. You can get a 5-pound, a 10-pound. This one's 15. You can get a nice stuffer. It makes a world of difference, because I'm going to tell you, if you're putting your deer meat in freezer paper, it's going to burn pretty quick because you can't keep the air out. And if you're putting them in Glad freezer bags, you just can't get the air out well enough to keep them from freezer burning. So I use this for my summer sausage. I use it for my deer sticks. I use it for just packing my ground away. I know that's 2 pounds. That'll be within an ounce or so. So if I got a 2-pound chili recipe, and I usually do, I can just get 1 bag, and that's fine. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the series. Matt does all the work in the back. I just kind of do what I do. It ended up being 4 parts, and then we ended up putting it into 6 parts because I took so long doing some things. But so anyway, that was a 6-part series on DIY Deer Processing 101. This is the basics that you can do to process your own deer meat, get your own deer meat back, get it in a timely fashion, get it for free, and it'll be clean as you want to make it. And it gives you just a little bit of satisfaction knowing that you harvested that animal and you dressed it and cleaned it and ground it and cut it all up, and you did the best that you could, and you did it yourself. So with that being said, from all of us at Ozark Traditions TV, we really do thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. There's a lot of guys on the show. We do a lot of things. So anyway, I'll just say it again. I'm going to point right to you. It's like Matt Smith and I have always said, if you guys see us out somewhere in God's country, stop us, because Matt and I would like to meet you. And thanks for watching.
From all of us at Ozark Traditions TV, we thank you for watching. And remember, if you see us out in God's country, stop us. We'd like to meet you.